Hey everybody, welcome back to the music review. Today we're going to be reviewing Jakey's Romcom. If anyone doesn't know who Jakey is a singer, ringer, rapper, producer, and songwriter from South Dakota. Also known as Nikki Jakey on YouTube, known for analyzing internet tropes and trends while making funny commentary on it. He's honestly one of my favorite YouTubers that exists on the platform. He's already done little things in terms of music, already making little singles from 2016 to 2017. Favorites are South Dakota, Saint Like, and as of current of today of 2021, Pine Barrens came out as well, which is another great single. That's also part of this album as well. So this album was been hyped up for almost a year now. Since he announced the album about 11 months ago, around December 21st, 2021, he announced that there would be like 7 songs on it and it would come out in February of 2022. When Valentine's Day came along, unfortunately, he came out and said, "Yeah, was not nowhere near complete." Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Was not nowhere near complete as he wanted it to be, or from what he's saying, it was not near completion. So during that time, he teased the new date, which is November 18th of 2022, and showed the track list. And from what I'm understanding, the track list here, um, it seems like he etched out this thing, a song called "Remember This Feeling," and now it's replaced with Tommy Hanks. So maybe if the 7th song was that or was replaced with Tommy Hanks and then a new one was added. But regardless, we just know we just got an added song to the album. So it could have been replaced. Remember This Feeling could have been replaced with, Tommy Hanks, or it's just titled differently. I don't know. But in the song Tommy Hanks, he does say Tommy Hanks. So maybe he won't, maybe that's the actual title of the song, or it's a different song he put into this album that is unknown. But regardless of that information and the other background stuff on that case, this album presentation is still immaculate for what it was. The transitions are super nice and clean, and by no stretch I mean I'm calling him Joji or saying that he's like a Joji copy or anything in that case. But I love the lo-fi theme that's going on with this. I'm getting similar works to almost as Joji's In Tongues. I have that right there. That's the deluxe version of In Tongues. It reminds me of that EP back before Joji became or stopped doing Filthy Frank. He incorporated, his own stuff still as doing both in that case. But I feel like what Jakey's doing here is kind of bringing back that sound. Not really necessarily sound, but it was more like just the lo-fi sadness that came to it. I feel like there's that emotion that Joji used to have, that melodramatic stuff that goes on, in their lives or whatever, heartbreaks, whatever happens, depression, stuff like that. I feel like Jakey did put that well, and I will say it's definitely a lot better than Joji's older stuff, and I will talk more about why that sounds similar and all that. I will talk about Smithereens, that album. That wasn't a very good album in my opinion, and I will talk more about that dynamic and why Romcom and other stuff relates to that review when I do review Smithereens. But other than that, though, Drive Off a Bridge is the first song. It's a great opener, a dreamy night, city vibe. Has a city has this sample of this college sorority chanting in the background and using the countdown sound effect from Gran Turismo, and it's super super fucking cool. The beat is cool. Here's a bit of what that sounds like.
I wanna go 85, drive off a bridge and die. I wanna go 82, drive off a bridge with you.
And then the basic lyrics like, I want to go 85, drive off a bridge and die. I want to go 82, drive off a bridge with you. It's like super basic, but it's it's catchy. It's super fun to listen to, and by far like a great start to already what this little album already has in store. And there's like Totally Freak Me Out as a second track. It's a great second part, as it incorporates the sampling from the last part of the song, or that little college sorority chant, while introducing a more modern trap beat. This is definitely the more modern and I think the more talented production on this track. I had a feeling of if you don't know what it's a song called "The Future Freaks Me Out" by Motion City Soundtrack. That's the kind of vibe I was getting from this. It's kind of just like being paranoid and don't know what's freaking you out. I like what he was doing with that. I don't know if he's talking about or had any relations to Motion City Soundtrack in that regard, but that's like a really another favorite of my songs back when I was a little kid listening to stuff like that. It just sounded a lot similar lyricism wise when it came to like Totally Freak Me Out. And then there's Every Day, the third track, which is definitely the I would say the most popular one on this album, with the Everyday sample going behind him behind the chorus. It's another like dreamy kind of vibe, talking about the ends of a relationship and saying you can't provide for what they need, what they do, or what they need from that partner every day. Hence the name of the song title, Every Day. Cool song in that regard. And then my personal favorite song is Survival Horror, which is another great sampling work by Jakey. He samples this famous Bad Girls Club meme of the girl like smacking the pants together. If you know what that is, and you can already picture that. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not even going to talk about or show that. Just to take that into consideration and listen to the song. It's super super cool, and he talks about the song too and adds to it. So it's another one of my favorite songs of this album. He's does this rapping slash like singing vibe to it. Still sings, but also has this lo-fi rap going on too. He can do at the same time. And then, like I said before, the single I've talked about in the beginning, Pine Barrens. It's the single for this album that was released on the announcement of the album when it first came out, when it was first announced. The voice work at first to me wasn't as good, in my own opinion, but over time, the way he put emotions into it really grew on to me. And in the album version of this song, he did make the production sound a lot better, a lot clearer, and across the vocal production as well, including the one verse that he put in last minute to include in that it's kind of like an apology letter almost to why he doing it last minute. It's like he's known doing things last minute, and then he does putting this little rap verse into it. So super cool. I like what he did to this version. I like the song already for what it was beforehand, but I like it a lot more now. Now it sounds a lot clearer and a lot more of what it should have sounded like beforehand, before the single. But great work on that, Jacob, honestly. And then there's REEBOKS and the Nikes, another great sampling piece. There's Rhythm of the Night is playing over this like depressed trap beat. Another incredible production on that, and great song. Go check that one out too. Tommy Hanks is another weird one. That's the one that got replaced with Remember This Feeling. Is a really weird one. Is also growing on me a little bit. It is Jakey rapping, but his voice is completely high pitched. But he's also talking about being like this girlfriend, good boyfriend, as well as catching up to references of Drive Off a Bridge, and even talking about the album title itself too. It's kind of basic, but I like where it's going with it. It's kind of catchy as well. Then lastly, Fathead, a banger of a conclusion. This includes another unexpected sample of the Disney DVD transitions, of the guy talking like coming soon on theaters, and then you have the guy talking that, well, I just said it, but and then it flows into this rhythmic rhythmic flowing rap, and about closing off the album and talking about a time where when he was a child, when he was being called Fathead. So it's really cool on that end. And then at the end, there's this 2 minute mark, last 2 minutes of the album. It turns into this little motivational talk near the end. I can't understand what he's saying, but it's just like, when you do is sleep on the couch, all you do is sit on the couch. That's all you want to do. I think was trying to simplify that, what you want, like the creature comforts could end up hurting you at your end. Like what you if you end up, falling into your comforts, not doing anything at all, you could end up doing nothing at all. I think that's what the push was there, but it all turns into last minute where it's like let the beat rock up for a minute, and then he kind of just talks, like sings off drive off a bridge again, and it kind of is slowed down, which is super cool. He slows it down a bit, and all of a sudden it cuts into this like, oh hey, who's Jacob, who's this? It's like, get out of here, fathead, and then it just concludes. I don't know if that simplifies anything or tried to talk about like how valuable or how valued Jacob's feelings feel. I don't know if that was had any in terms of that, but I felt like him talking about everything last minute and talking about a kid, and then bringing back him getting all fathead one last time and get off. I felt like it's a not like a motif, but more like a, I'm like a memento to realize that, that might stick with him for the rest of his life. And I really like that. I honestly like that little part of the conclusion. Definitely ended out really well. And yeah, the album was very basic and very detailed in the production. The melodramatic lyrics with the lo-fi beats that, are inspired are very memorable on this here. For someone who was very hyped for this album when it first was announced, I'm beyond pleased how this came out. I'm like impressed the amount of work that went into this and the how great Jakey actually did put into this. I love everything he's done. From everything he's worked on already, from now is nothing but impressive in my own opinion. I hope he gets picked up by a label, or at least gets rewarded for his efforts on this album. I'm working on this experience with a lot of songs that are going to be repeated in my head, or I'm going to keep listening to them. And that's no thanks to the creative mind of Nikki Jakey. I hope a CD. I hope a CD, a cassette, or a vinyl comes out that I can put up my wall or something, because this is a stepping stone for what he's doing, and I am inspired, and I also am like excited for what he's gonna do in the future. This is definitely a 9 out of 10 in my opinion. Tommy Hanks felt a bit of a snooze in my opinion, but it's also starting to grow on me already. A little bit of it is already still growing up on me. So theoretically, this could be a 10 out of 10. Weeks later, and I find Tommy Hanks to be like my favorite song. Who, but this is definitely a certified banger for lo-fi listeners. And if you're a little depressed, I definitely welcome you to Romcom. Thank you all for listening. For me, my review. Be back soon with something a little bit similar, something maybe different. I might just upload the Smithereens review maybe soon after about this. I don't know. But anyway, thank you all for listening. See ya.